Emma was a successful career woman in her mid-30s, who lived in the heart of New York City. She had worked hard to get where she was and was proud of all her achievements, but there was always something missing in her life. She had never been in a serious relationship, and as much as she loved her job, she longed for the kind of love that she had seen in the movies. She believed in love at first sight, but she had never experienced it for herself. One day, Emma was walking down the street on her way to work when she saw him. He was tall, with dark hair and piercing blue eyes. He was wearing a suit that fit him perfectly, and he looked like he had just stepped off the cover of a magazine. Emma felt her heart skip a beat as their eyes met. She had never felt anything like it before. It was like a bolt of lightning had struck her, and she knew that this man was different from anyone she had ever met. As she walked away, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the mysterious stranger. She didn't even know his name, but she felt like she had to see him again. For the next few days, she found herself walking down the same street, hoping to catch another glimpse of him. But he was nowhere to be seen. Just as she was starting to give up hope, Emma received an invitation to a charity gala that was being held at the Waldorf Astoria. She decided to attend, and as she was mingling with the other guests, she saw him again. He was standing across the room, looking just as handsome as she remembered. She knew that she had to talk to him. She made her way over to him, feeling nervous and unsure of what to say. But as soon as they started talking, Emma felt like she had known him for years. They had an instant connection, and she couldn't believe how easy it was to talk to him. They spent the whole night together, dancing and laughing, and Emma knew that this was the man she had been waiting for. She felt like she had finally found her soulmate. Over the next few weeks, Emma and the mysterious stranger, whose name was revealed to be James, went on dates and spent every moment they could together. They talked about everything, from their hopes and dreams to their fears and insecurities. Emma had never felt so comfortable around anyone, and she knew that James felt the same way. As their relationship blossomed, Emma and James decided to take a trip together to Paris. It was something that Emma had always dreamed of, and she knew that it would be the perfect place for them to fall even deeper in love. They spent their days exploring the city, visiting museums, and enjoying the local cuisine. At night, they strolled along the Seine River, watching the Eiffel Tower light up the sky. They held hands and talked about their future together, and Emma knew that she never wanted to be without him. One night, while they were sitting on a park bench overlooking the city, James turned to Emma and said, "I know that we haven't been together for very long, but I feel like I've known you my whole life. I love you, Emma. I know that I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Emma felt tears welling up in her eyes as she realized that she felt the same way. She had never imagined that she would find love at first sight, but here she was, sitting with the man of her dreams in one of the most romantic cities in the world. They kissed under the stars, and Emma knew that this was just the beginning of their love story. They returned to New York City, more in love than ever before. Continue. Back in New York, Emma and James settled into their routine. They would spend their evenings cooking together, watching movies, and going for long walks in Central Park. Emma had never been happier, and she knew that James felt the same way. As their love grew stronger, they decided to move in together. They found a beautiful apartment in the heart of the city, and Emma loved decorating it with all of her favorite things. They would spend their weekends exploring the city, trying new restaurants, and going to Broadway shows. One day, while they were on a walk, James turned to Emma and said, "I have a surprise for you." He led her to a nearby park, where he had set up a picnic with all of her favorite foods. They sat on a blanket and enjoyed the sunshine, talking about their hopes and dreams for the future. Then, James got down on one knee and pulled out a ring. "Emma, I love you more than anything in the world. Will you marry me?" Emma couldn't believe it. She had never been proposed to before, and she had never been happier. She said yes, and they spent the rest of the day celebrating their love. Over the next few months, they planned their wedding. They decided to have it in a beautiful vineyard in California, surrounded by the people they loved most. Emma's family flew in from all over the country, and James' family came from England. On the day of the wedding, Emma walked down the aisle, feeling like the luckiest woman in the world. She looked into James' eyes and knew that this was the man she was meant to spend the rest of her life with. Their wedding was a dream come true, filled with love, laughter, and joy. They danced the night away, surrounded by their friends and family, and Emma knew that she had found the love of her life. As the years went by, Emma and James grew older together. They had children, traveled the world, and experienced everything life had to offer. They would still talk about the night they met and how they had fallen in love at first sight. They knew that they were lucky to have found each other, and they never took their love for granted. Years later, on their 50th wedding anniversary, Emma and James renewed their vows. They stood in the same vineyard where they had gotten married, surrounded by their children and grandchildren. Emma looked into James' eyes and felt the same love she had felt the first time she saw him. They had spent a lifetime together, and she knew that she would love him for eternity. As they danced under the stars, Emma thought back to the night they had met. She had always believed in love at first sight, but she never thought it would happen to her. She was grateful for that chance encounter on the street that had led her to the love of her life. She knew that fate had brought them together, and she would never forget the moment she fell in love at first sight.